Thank you, Dean. Hey, where's the impersonator? I'm opening for the impersonator? That doesn't seem right. People open for me. Anyway, if he's around, I got a shirt for him here. This is our new shirt. If the imposter ever shows up,
Howie. Speaking of which, I was going to get you a VIP with Mr. Trump, but you'll have to settle for this instead.
It's great to be here, Mr. Trump. This is a medium. I think it'll fit over your arm, perhaps.
Probably. Howie, how are you?
Very good.
Great. How about Howie Carr, everybody? Let's give him a round of applause. I get in there, I'm thinking about making Howie chairman of the FCC. What do you think? What do you think, Howie? Will you do it?
I've told you, Mr. Trump, I don't want to be the press secretary. I don't want to be the chairman of the FCC. I just want to be the maitre d' in Mar-a-Lago. I'm third generation Palm Beach hotels. I think I'm eminently qualified as both a customer and a barman, a busboy, a waiter, a dishwasher. Can you assure me of that, Mr. Trump? That's all I want. Bernd is getting old. He's from the Breakers. I'm getting old, but not that old, and I'm from the Breakers. I want to take Bernd's place as maitre d'.
Howie, I think probably we could get you down there, probably. But keep being very nice to Trump, because good things happen when you're nice to Trump, right? You gotta be nice to Trump.
Corey told me in his email that Donald Trump is going to be in Boston on Monday, and he's going to be, well, I know he's in Lowell tonight, but he's going to be in Boston on Monday. We're going to try to get him on the show, and hope that we haven't had him on for a while. But I guarantee you, he appreciates it. And until New York, this was the state where he did the best. I mean, he did even better here in Massachusetts than he did in New Hampshire. I know we got a lot of New Hampshire people here tonight too. You got 35% in New Hampshire. The field was getting a little culled out by the time you got here. You got 49%.
Let's remind everybody in Massachusetts we flipped 20,000 Democrats to vote for Trump. Tremendous stuff, Howie.
And that was a good job, by the way, by the people who were out here at the Songus Arena on Saturday when the Moonbats, the Democrats, came in for their convention. And there were about a dozen Republicans who were holding signs saying, welcome to Trump, Massachusetts. And we flipped 20,000 Democrats to vote for Trump. That was a good option. And by the way, one last thing, Mr. Trump.
Yes.
A Democrat, to get on a statewide ballot in Massachusetts, now needs to get 15% of the votes at the Democratic convention, which was Saturday here in Lowell. What percent of the vote of the Democrats who were in Lowell on Saturday at the Songus Arena do you think Jack Kennedy could have gotten?
Zilch. Big fat goose egg.
We know he couldn't have won the primary. I don't even think he could have gotten on the statewide ballot. That's how much the state's changed. Well, listen, Mr. Trump, I'm going to turn it over to you. And congratulations for your great victory. Nobody would have ever expected this 51 weeks ago today when you came down the escalator on 5th Avenue there. Congratulations, Mr. Trump.
Ladies and gentlemen, Howie Carr, Eric Jackman. And we got Eric coming up later on because we're going to go to video from Trump Tower in a little while.
Everybody give Howie Carr a round of applause one more time. I'm not going to say a lot right now. Imagine that, Trump not saying a lot. But wait till you see what I'm going to say at 9 o'clock after a huge day today. So stay tuned, folks. I'll be back. Party on. Trump train, baby.
I want to tell you a little bit about this guy. He was on CNN, and he was also locally on WAF radio and Boston Herald radio. And I recently saw him in a bar. Me and Fred Doucette ran into him at a liberal bar in Dover. It was full of Bernie college kids, and they practically killed us going in there. But by the time we left, they were in stitches, and you're going to find out why in a minute. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring Eric Jackman to the stage. Give him a warm welcome, please.
All right. Beautiful, beautiful. Just gonna fix this mic right here. The only thing better than one Trump speech is another Trump speech. Can I get a round of applause for that? I mean, really, seriously. Lowell, to me, represents America, working class people, some people working more than one job, struggling to pay their bills, my kind of people, working people. Let's give the people of Lowell and Massachusetts a round of applause. I love you guys, you're tremendous. Route 495 was pretty nice coming in. It looks like that road's maintained pretty well. Not too bad, not too bad. I'm used to nicer places though. I mean, Mar-a-Lago, anybody been to Mar-a-Lago, my resort town in Florida? Beautiful place. Trump Tower, anyone been to Trump Tower? That place is tremendous. Very beautiful. So I know what you're all thinking. You're probably thinking, Donald, you put on a couple of pounds, right? In all fairness, I've been spending a lot of time with Chris Christie. And when we're on the bus, when me and Crisco Christie, I call him Crisco because we're going to put Crisco around the door to get him in the bus. When me and Governor Christie are on the bus, we can't drive past a Krispy Kreme or a Wendy's without him saying, Donald, stop the bus, stop the bus. But Chris is great, seriously, he's great. He does a great job. Very happy to have Chris on the team. And there's probably a position for Chris in the cabinet. He just has to lose a little bit more weight so he can fit in the cabinet. So 1,237. 1,237 is the magic number, and we hit it. We hit the delegates. They said we wouldn't do it, and we did it. Ironically, 1,237 is the number of times Bill's cheated on Hillary. Can you believe it? Well, we'll get to those later. Believe me, we're just getting going on the Clintons. I'm just getting warmed up. We're just getting in a general election mode right now, believe me, we are. And we shocked the world. A lot of people said Trump wasn't going to do it, that he'll never run, and I ran. They said he'll never say what he's really worth. Not only did I say what I was really worth, but it turned out my company was about 1,000 times huger than expected. Great assets, very low debts, tremendous cash flow, employed thousands, and quite frankly, a world-class business. World-class. Okay, this microphone's a little rickety like Bernie Sanders, so just cut me a break. So we won, and we won huge. Now this is just the beginning. I mean, the primary was like a Royal Rumble. I had 11 low-energy losers up there on the stage that I had to take on. And did anybody watch those debates? How great were the debates? That was a lot of fun, believe me, a lot of fun. Quite frankly, I hadn't had that much fun since I did Battle of the Billionaires with Vince McMahon on WWF, which I had a great time doing, by the way. Vince McMahon runs a tremendous business, and he's very talented. He's done very well. When I think of some of my opponents, I think of people who are just all talk, do nothing politicians. All talk, do nothing. Trump likes to talk a lot, but I do a lot too, believe me, I do. I'm a man of action. I get things done. I build things, I create things, and I employ thousands. But can we believe Mitt Romney? I mean, Mitt Romney, that twice loser. I mean, when I think of Mitt Romney, I think about choke artists. I have a Gucci store in Manhattan that's worth 10 times Mitt Romney. Now, Mitt Romney and I, we disagree on a lot, and we agree on a few things. One thing we agree on is 3 wives. I've had 3 wives, I had. But not at the same time like Mitt. But Mitt's all right. I mean, you know, he begged for my endorsement in 2012, and he'll come around. I mean, he'll come around. He's low energy. He's a loser. He's very disgusting. But Mitt will come around. Now, the primary was an amazing show. I mean, New Hampshire, I got 100,000 votes, and it was incredible. And we came up with some incredible nicknames, didn't we? Lion Ted, Little Marco, Low Energy Jeb, 1 for 40 John. John Kasich looks like a constipated alien. He does. Kind of constipated. Maybe needs some Pepto-Bismol, maybe. He ate a lot of pizza, and he didn't eat pizza the right way. I've never seen a human eat pizza like that. It was very disgusting. And Ben Carson, Ben, who's actually a great guy, by the way. Can I get a round of applause for Ben Carson? He was tremendous. And Ben Carson is leading my vice presidential search. And what he's doing is he's taking his scalpel and cutting people's heads open and checking out their brains to see if they're smart enough for the job. When I found out that Ben did the alien autopsies at Area 51, he was hired instantly. Instantly hired to cut people's heads open. I knew this thing, I had to be nasty, okay? Politics, full contact sport. You gotta be nasty, you gotta be tough, and you gotta be strong. And Trump is strong, and Trump is tough, quite frankly. And so are my people. So while I was up there, I had Lion Ted here, and I had Little Marco here, and I called them the Latin Kings. I was flanked by the Latin Kings of the GOP. Lion Ted was a liar, and Little Marco was a loser. Now, Ted Cruz is very disgusting, quite frankly. He's not even qualified to be president. He was born in Canada. And I approached him and said, Ted, if you drop out, maybe I'll name you ambassador to your home country of Canada, maybe. But Ted Cruz has a very huge, disgusting tramp stamp from Goldman Sachs, and it's very ugly. Very ugly. And Little Marco, I mean, being up there in the debates with him, I wanted to bring a towel. I've never seen somebody sweat so much like Little Marco. Marco looked like he had just taken a shower with Coach Sandusky. Very disgusting. Very disgusting. And Coach Sandusky, by the way, who I hear is sharing a cell with Jared Fogle from Subway. I've been told they're cellmates. Maybe there'll be room for Hillary Clinton in that cell when I get in there. And then Carly Fiorina. I mean, Rolling Stone heard me talk about that face. I may have said some bad things about Carly, but when her and Ted were on a ticket, that was a disaster. I mean, quite frankly, Ted Cruz could have put Malaysian Air on his ticket and it would have done better. So Little Marco, he was cute. He was pretty nice. You know, he's coming around. We're going to get Little Marco on the team. And he tried to say something about my hands, that I have small hands. And it was very disgusting and low energy. I don't know what he was talking about. I've never had a problem with Trump Tower Jr., never had a problem. When I think of the word chump, and I think of the two words low in energy, Jeb Bush comes to mind. Jeb Bush's campaign was a big, fat, ugly disaster. He spent like $140 million and he only got like 40 votes. And that's because people felt bad for him. They did, and they had amnesia from the 8 years when his loser brother was president. But this thing was screwed from Jump Street. I mean, he had to get his 90-year-old crypt keeper mother, Barbara Bush, that reptile. He dragged out Barbara Bush and said, Mommy, go walk through the snow in New Hampshire and get votes for me. I want to be king like Daddy and Brother George. What a loser. Jeb will never be president. Never. Definitely not on Trump's watch. Not going to happen. We're not going to have another Bush. The last time I checked, Jeb, the towers came down on your brother's watch. That's not safe. Not safe, folks. Debating Jeb was fun. I mean, I had a good time. He was a pretty good sport most of the time. But a lot of the time when I was up there, I could smell oil. And I would look next to Jeb and say, why do I smell oil? And then it dawned on me, the Saudis use oil as lube. Trump, look, you're thinking it, Trump says it. You're thinking it, Trump says it. Really bad. The Bushes are horrible people. I mean, they're war profiteering monsters. They make money off human suffering. Trump makes money off building people up, building businesses, and employing tens of thousands. Give me a round of applause for that. We don't want any more monsters like the Bushes. They're horrible people. They're reptiles. I don't want their endorsement. I don't want Jeb's endorsement. I don't want W's endorsement. Stay on your ranch and play cards and go paint some paintings, W. You're horrible. You were a horrible president. You weren't even really elected. They stole that thing in Florida. Believe me, they stole it. When you hear Trump, the word winner comes to mind, doesn't it? You think about winner and you think about closer. Because Trump's a winner and he's a closer. And quite frankly, when I think about winners, I think about the greatest team in the world, your New England Patriots. Yeah! We got any Patriots fans in the house? Bob Kraft, who, by the way, has said very nice things about me. Bob has. He can't endorse me publicly because it'd be bad for business, but Bob has said very nice things about Trump. And I get in there, there'll be somewhere in the cabinet for Bob. There will be. I was on Twitter today, and I saw news that Roger Goodale had died.
You signed it? I didn't sign it.
And I said, Roger Goodale's dead. I was about to retweet a celebratory tweet, and then I found out it was a hoax, and I was very sad. I get in there, first day in office, full pardon for Tom Brady, Deflategate is a disaster. Tom Brady is innocent. He didn't do it. He didn't do it. He's innocent. Roger Goodale's been on a Salem witch hunt. Classic Salem witch hunt, witch trial. We know who did Deflategate, we do. My people have footage of the actual perpetrator, and do you know who it is? They got footage of Lindsey Graham draining those balls. Because quite frankly, nobody empties balls better than Lindsey Graham, believe me. Believe me. Lindsey, that's a very deep, dark closet. You gotta come out. Come into the light, Lindsey. Come out into the light. But full pardon for Tom Brady. And how about Tom Brady? Isn't he just a winner? He wins, and he wins, and he wins. And then when you think he's down and out, he wins again. And another thing I'm going to do when I get in there, I'm going to demolish Mount Rushmore and put 4 of my faces up there and one of Tom Brady's chin. Tom Brady's chin is so strong and so tough and so American. And I get a little excited when I think about it. I do. I think most men do. Everybody loves that chin. It's $1 billion chin. And if I was Tom, I would get that thing insured. I would by AIG, quite frankly. Now we got to get through this little bit where we talk about the dirtiest, most disgusting, horrible, wretched people, the Clintons. I mean, quite frankly, folks, Trump is almost speechless. I'm almost speechless when I talk about Hillary Clinton. And believe me, it takes a lot. It takes a lot to make Trump speechless, it does. It takes a lot. Not even Stephen King could write a horror story as scary as the Clintons, believe me. And Hillary's really bad for women, quite frankly. Trump, a lot of people don't know this about Trump, I'm actually a feminist. I'm a member of Oprah's book club, and right now we're reading the greatest book ever, The Art of the Deal. The Art of the Deal spent 4,000 weeks at New York Times best-selling list. It's tremendous. It's been translated into 4,000 languages. Klingon, Dothraki, Vulcan. I mean, it's just incredible. Everybody's reading Art of the Deal. Quite frankly, even walkers from Walking Dead are reading it, and they love it. They do. I make dead people successful. That's how great Trump is.
You're on camera, hey?
I just want to tell you, you're watching the greatest show and the show that I watch when I'm on Trump Tower, The Bob Show. Stay tuned. Greatest recent chat gathering
So you've been there?
Believe me, my shop teacher was good over. We doing a picture? Yep.
Yeah.
One more time. Thank you. I'll take you to a picture. Look close.
Yes.
Ready, 1, 2. Beautiful. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
I watch SNL all the time, and I watch
Daryl Hammond.
Oh, Daryl Hammond, the impersonator for Bernie and Hillary. Oh, they're funny.
They're spot on.
Oh yeah.
I think Jimmy Fallon's impression's a disaster, and I want to get on there and challenge him to a battle of the Trumps.
No, I know.
I'm trying to get the real Donald to help me do that.
No, of course, no, but you did a good job.
man.
And so do they. I mean, I as soon as the primaries were over and everyone mocked Clinton and mocked Trump and everyone else, and
Right.
It's good to know that there's everyone has a sense of humor during the whole process.
With this stuff, you have to, man.
You have to. You have to.
Here's my card with all my stuff.
Thank you.
My YouTube channel, all my videos are on there.
I appreciate it.
I hope you'll check it out.
Make America great again.
I love this guy. George is my favorite Beatle, by the way. Great name.
Thank you.